Humans are very difficult to understand, but human behavior sometimes baffles even the intellectual. Human beings have a very strange nature. Sometimes the greatest sadness can't affect them, and sometimes they can't bear even the smallest happiness and their heart stops beating. Something similar happened to me, stunned by excessive obedience. Now it's up to you to decide what to actually call this behavior. It happened that I was resting in my house. That Ghulam Qadir, who was my childhood friend and also a Videra of his area, got a call and said, "Tomorrow is Sunday, your day off. Come with me to the village. I want to show you the new lands I have taken." At first, I was not in the mood. Night will send me back to the city. It was also impossible to get leave. Ghulam Qadir promised, so we left for the village after offering Fajr prayer on Sunday morning. We stopped on the way and had breakfast, and then after a long tiring journey we reached the village. "Jamal, you must be tired, rest for a while. After eating, be ready. I will show you my agricultural lands." My back was really aching while sitting in the car. His offer seemed golden, so I immediately filled it. After resting for an hour, I got up and took a bath, so he got refreshed. He had just finished praying when the servant brought hot food. "Where is your master?" I asked the employee. "Just yes, you start. They are coming." Just as the employee had finished speaking, Ghulam Qadir also came. We decided fried chicken, which was made in local ghee, cornbread, head and greens and a jug full of lassi. Then Ghulam Qadir made me sit in the car and went inside the house. I sat in the car far away. He began to see the green field stretching up to. It must have been some time when Ghulam Qadir came out. He was accompanied by a slender child of 12 or 13 years old. I also got out of the car. "Jamal, meet my son Ghulam Muhammad." The child extended his hand towards me and greeted me. After shaking hands with Ghulam Muhammad, I placed my hand on his head and prayed that he was a copy of his father, but I felt that he was more reserved and quiet than his age. "Yar Jamal, Ghulam Muhammad is my only son and my everything belongs to him." Ghulam Qadir looked at his son lovingly and said. I also smiled and looked at Ghulam Muhammad. There was a lot of determination in his shining black eyes. "I teach my son only one thing, that no matter what the work may be, never leave idleness. Don't waste time. A person leaves, but his work always remains. This is absolutely true." I lovingly placed my hand on Ghulam Muhammad's head. He smiled softly and stood closer to his father. Then we left for the lands. Indeed, Ghulam Qadir's area was very green. After the car stopped, we all got down from the car. Then Ghulam Qadir said to me, "Jamal, as far as your eyes can see, these are all my lands. These fruits, these trees, fields, threshing floors, forests, gardens and animals are all mine. Nothing can happen here without my will." At that time, Ghulam Qadir's face had a great triumphant glow. "I have been handling all this since my father's death, but it has also increased a lot, and now my son will handle it all after me," he said, looking at his son with loving eyes. Suddenly, the sound of gunshots started coming from an unknown direction. I was extremely scared. Ghulam Qadir's guards got down and took the position. We three came under the cover of the vehicle. "Don't worry, Jamal, it's happening here." Ghulam Qadir found me scared and said. He and Ghulam Muhammad were standing completely satisfied. I became more scared seeing the satisfaction of both of them. The guards were firing in different directions and the entire environment was echoing with the crackling of bullets. Ghulam Qadir told me, "These thieves have come who used to steal the harvest. A thief has been surrounded by my men in this area since night." But suddenly what no one thought happened. A blind bullet passed through Ghulam Qadir's skull and he fell face down on the ground. My eyes widened with fear and horror. My whole being was like an earthquake. I stood there, a simple urban boy who had never seen a gun up close, and here in front of me lay my friend in a pool of blood. Ghulam Muhammad was crying while hugging his father's body. Soon after, the guards recovered another body from the crowd in front of him, which surely belonged to the same person who was firing from the hide. When the guards dragged his body, Ghulam Muhammad he raised his head from his father's chest, wiped his tears and looked at the body in surprise for a few moments and then nodded and said to the guards, "Oh, This is the minister of Vadere of the same village. The guards nodded in agreement. I did not want to go ahead and hug Ghulam Muhammad. He was an innocent child in front of whom his father was brutally killed. Done. Oh, this is the minister of Vadere of Parvali village. The guards nodded in agreement. It was given. I was still thinking that Ghulam Muhammad looked at me and the sentence came out of his mouth. He gave me a shock of 440 watts. Take him home, I will come after finishing the work.